This is Highway 1. Out in the back there is the bay and the beach, then those sand dunes that has some ice plant and stuff growing on them, and then Highway 1 here. The rifle ranges were there, and they'd shoot out towards the targets which were based up against the sand dune. Like right there was one. I think right down there was one. Over there was one. I'm right on the corner of the post. These are some few remaining buildings. Administration buildings, something like that. And they're a few of the ones that they didn't tear down. These here you can see they've been painted a different color. And they're being used. They either sold them or leased them out or something. You can see them all lined up down this street and down the hill. There's rows and rows and rows of the old barracks that they did not tear down, which is pretty cool because probably about 95% of all the old buildings are gone. More of this north corner of the base. All the barracks are falling apart. A lot of ice plants still around, like down here. That was all barracks. Now it's housing. Some developer built it and sold it off. This was an old maintenance building, and then this was a motor pool. All around in the back where those trees are, that was all thick with barracks. This wasn't a big road in those days. Here's some barracks. Fenced off, boarded up, falling apart. Totally dangerous to even go in. And then the skating rink, and it's still open. Not for military, but for civilian use. This road allowed me to find my company area because this road leads down to, let me get turned around here, Highway 1 and the underpass where we marched in formation carrying rifles and helmets and gear under the highway over to the rifle ranges that were backed up against the bay. So if you come back up this road, right up there, I figured out where my company area is, even though they've torn the buildings down, because I remember exactly where it was, with or without buildings, because of some landmarks. This is what's left of the quartermaster area. Those old sofas laying out there are probably the same ones those quartermaster guys laid around on, lounged around on while waiting for us to come over so they could throw our equipment and gear at us and be really rude to us. Anyway, that's just one building. You can see some vehicles just passing back there. That's Highway 1. We're on this boundary. And then these buildings, more quartermaster stuff. They marched us over here in civilian clothes from the reception center after we were here a day or two. And we filed through several of these buildings while the quartermaster guys would size us up and give us our uniforms and boots and things. They were pretty rude, those guys. Pretty ugly. So as I recall, there was more than this. But hey, it was 1963. So, with this road that's here, right out of the company area. Company area is here, B51, Company B, 5th Battalion, 1st Training Brigade. That was my basic training unit. Right down this road and across an intersection and down at the bottom of the hills, Highway 1, with the underpass that goes over. All of those things combined brought me to this street, even though the buildings are gone. This was where my company area was. It had the old barracks up and down both sides of the street. The ready room was over here, the office. I think there was an equipment room here or there. And then, just where this last bit of concrete is there, that level area was where the mess hall was, and then the first barracks was mine. I slept right there. There's another barracks behind it, 2 or 3 on the other side. This is the street where they rolled us in on cattle trucks, and the yelling began, and it didn't stop for 8 weeks. So this is it. This is what's left of Fort Ord. It's June of 2018. Today's about the 28th or 29th. And my basic started here in, well, I enlisted the 24th of September of '63, and about a week later I arrived here. Spent 8 weeks here before going to Fort Knox, eventually overseas. So this is the place. I come here several times a year, probably 4 or 5. Sometimes in my car, sometimes today I rode the old motorcycle over. I'll probably keep coming back here until I just can't. This here is kind of like holy ground for me.